Everybody, it's Lex from PDQ.com. It's Q&A this week, where you ask the questions and Jordan and I try and answer them. Let's jump in and see how well we do today.
All right, ready, guys?
Here we go. Hi, I am a big fan. We just renewed for the third year running. Yay, well done. When can we expect Azure managed devices to be supported? There will come a point this year when Azure devices will outweigh domain devices on our network. Patch management is needed for Azure device, and you guys rock at it. Thanks, TC from the UK.
Hey, TC. You know, we do realize Azure is very important. We are thinking on that one. What you do need to do to make sure that you can interface with those is make sure you have a local DC that is replicating with that, and then you've got a single source of truth to work from, and you should be able to take care of those. Any thoughts, Jordan?
Well, Colby put in the chat a link about a help document about the Windows services and why, as is, it's not working exactly as hoped, but we do understand that it is a growing need.
Absolutely. Next question.
It's something. I've got this from the product owner herself. She said, "Tell them that it's on our list of things we are looking into."
I think I said that.
Not very helpful, and it's probably the same thing that Lex said. But
maybe not in those words.
It is from an authoritative source.
What?
Lex,
I don't have authority.
No, but that's straight from the.
That's straight from
not
the
when it comes to
that
deciding,
happen.
Lex. Not when it comes to deciding things that are in the product. Probably not.
No, I'm with you.
The vagueness came from a more relevant person.
Yeah.
Yes,
The Department
that's
of
what I'm trying to convey here. I know you said the exact same thing.
We're just going to continue to stomp on me. Let's do the next question.
He's like, could we please move on?
Please.
Dear Lex and Jordan, I need to identify work-from-home laptop upgrade candidates. Primary criteria is display resolution below 1080, small screens, and no second display, external monitor. How can I create a report to help find these candidates?
All right, so first thing, I'm just going to open a machine that's a physical machine on a VM here, and if you go to displays, these are the displays that are attached. Okay. Also, another way to go get that information is to build a WMI query. So let's go to scan profiles. New scan profiles. We'll just call this displays. And if you go and add WMI, we'll name this resolution. Yeah, like I can spell that, resolution. Close enough. Anyway. If you go and you look in SimV2, as soon as that enumerates here, we're going to go look for, it's I think W32 displays or desktop, what is it, desktop displays, desktop monitors right here. If you run this, okay, notice on this machine that I'm running on, it's got two displays, and as I start scrolling across here, I believe we have resolutions, right? Check it out, screen height, screen width. Now, I believe that's what it's set to. It may not be the max. Any thoughts, Jordan?
Yeah, but I think in most cases, people are going to have it set pretty close to the max.
Yeah, it's a place to start looking at any rate. So, yeah, so that's where I would go. Start working from there. By the way, thanks, Brooks. Thanks, Josh. You guys gave me the heads up on that one this morning.
Next question.
Hi guys, how is it possible to create a shortcut on the desktop? Is that possible that you offer this possibility directly in PDQ Deploy soon? Thanks, Damien S.
Hey, Damien. There's a couple ways to go about that, and I was looking through the chat earlier, and there's some PowerShell ways to do it. The way I do it, which is super simple, is notice I made an icon called Do the Stuff. I'm going to go into Deploy. We'll make a new package, and we're going to do a file copy step. Okay. Ultimately, I'm going to grab that source, right? There it is, Do the Stuff. There's that link. And then I'm going to paste that into public desktop, and it'll show up on everybody's desktop. So that's the way I would do it. Pretty simple. Jordan, any thoughts?
There's a way I would spell public correctly. But other than that...
This will work if you got Piblick.
I'm sure it'll be fine. There are ways to do that with PowerShell, other ways, but it's going to be more just unnecessary complexity.
Yeah.
The file copy is definitely your best bet.
And spelling is important. That's how I'd go about it.
Yeah.
What else we got, guys?
Hey guys, I may have Dell workstations that are Intel vPro, Intel AMT ready. I know I may need a license to activate it. Does PDQ Inventory capture information that can help identify these vPro ready computers? Some literature says, look for the vPro logo on the box. Go! Sincerely, Chad B.
Now, I don't know if I can automate looking at the box because I'm assuming you're throwing those away after the fact. But I don't know. What do you think, Jordan?
I thought that was a joke and trying to research this one. That is
Is that what they
legitimately
say?
the answer. A lot of things. And then you get a whole bunch of links that go to a dead page on Intel. So there's some things that I did find that I haven't been able to test them yet, but they might be useful. When vPro is up and running, under SimV2 SMS, there's a SMS underscore AMT object that's built in WMI.
Okay.
So you could search for that one.
Should we see if we got that?
I doubt we have it turned on that machine.
That's probably okay. That's a good point. I know we don't have it turned on because I don't even know if we have it on this machine. So
outside
Is
of
this
that,
a blog post? Is this a blog post that we need to write ourselves?
I could definitely look into it. I don't know if we have the machines where I can actually get the positive results. The other part, which would be useful, I think, is the vPro does have a PowerShell module.
Oh.
That you can import and run from that. So you could build a scanner that looks for it. If it's not enabled in any way, you're probably going to get like that .NET class is not there type of error. So it's search for the error. That's not a direct. This is there, but if you're not finding the right classes, it's probably not running. But I just started looking at it this morning. As JJ said, I'll probably be doing a deeper dive and see if I can't come up with a blog for that.
So that's our way of kind of running around going, don't know exactly, but there's some ideas on where to go. So, yeah. Thanks, Jordan.
Hey guys, it's me again. I am referring to Chad B. Is there a way to integrate PDQ Inventory with Intel AMT Remote Management? Maybe so I can right-click on a computer and launch into the KVM over IP? Or integrate with MeshCommander.com to achieve this? Thanks again, Chad B.
So, Chad, when you're building tools so you can right-click, it boils down to, can you have a command line that you can pass parameters to? Let's just go take a look at some of the tools that we've already got built here. Customize. We'll take a look at the OpenAdmin $share. Okay. Again, all we're doing here is calling Explorer exe and then passing the computer target host name and where we're looking. So to make that happen, there'd have to be a command line that you'd have to be able to pass that parameter to. The variables that you can pass when you're highlighted are right there. Check it out, JJ. Use the highlighter. Boom. Right there. And without knowing AMT and the command line, that's where I'd go.
So this is I'm bumping my microphone now. The PowerShell module we're talking about, I fiddled with it a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not the most intuitive tool. Like if you have to specify a fully qualified domain name, it won't default to the machine you're running on when you're running the commands. But if you have that module somewhere where it's trusted and other machines can import it, you could then build a scanner that goes there and runs it. You just have to specify either IP or fully qualified domain name per scan, which we may have the variable for. And you can get a whole lot of things like the power settings, alarm clocks. There's a lot in there with the AMT where you can do the module looks pretty powerful. It's just not. It's not on my initial look, not my favorite so far.
All right. Again, some places to go take a look. Some ways how we try and attack that.
And our final question from Chad B.
Oh.
If you were to make your own Valentine's Day card for Lex, what would it look like and what would it say?
If you're going to make one, I don't care what's on the outside. Just put money in the inside when you send it to me. That's how. Okay, I'm not the one that should answer that one.
I'm not even going to make a Valentine's card for my fiance. So
What? I don't get one if she doesn't get one?
yeah.
So
there's a hierarchy here, Lex. Yeah.
I'm hurt. Jordan?
I can't use that language on the webcast.
Jake, come on, man. You got my back. Make me a Valentine's Day card? Use crayons, okay?
Scratch and sniff, scotch smell.
Jake
Scotch
feels
smelling,
so bad
scratch
for
and
you.
sniff. I love it already.
I think that's just permanent marker.
Depends on the scotch or whiskey.
I got one for you, Lex.
Okay.
Incoming!
Oh. If I could catch.
Anyway.
Oh, it's a Mento. Oh, no, it's not. It's one
candy
of those
heart.
hearts.
It's a 3-year-old candy heart.
There.
I think it turned into powder when it hit the floor.
Yeah, enjoy.
I realized I was muted, but yes, I'm going to make you one, Lex.
Oh, thanks, man.
It'll be a video, like an e-card
An e-card, video e-card.
of
I
me doing
really
like a TikTok
Lex.
dance or something. All right, next question.
Thanks, that was a fun question. I appreciate it.
Hey guys, wondering if there are plans to add the ability at the deployment level to limit concurrent connections and deployments. You can do so globally in the options, but not on a per deployment basis. Sincerely, Jay Beck.
All right, Jay, again, thank you for pointing out where we find this. Preferences under performance. Here's how you set them globally, guys. There is not a way to currently set that per deployment. I think that's kind of a cool idea. Maybe we'll send that up, run that up a flagpole, but this is where you set it. And I will tell you this, okay? I worked with a lot of customers, have a lot of machines, and some have a little machines, and I will tell you, this works really, really good. I think the most I've ever deviated from the default, I think it was 15,000 end nodes, and we bumped it up to like 64 at a pop. So I would play with this. I guess, I don't know. That's the only way I'd mess with it is right there, because that's the only place you actually can mess with it. So how's that for dancing around that question?
It was a lot of words to not give a specific.
A lot of words to not say, you have to do it globally. There we go. Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate that.
I mean, I'm familiar with that one. There's not a lot. We're not really in the development process, so if there is something coming like that, we wouldn't know until it was closer to being release ready.
Yeah. Oh, it's an interesting idea, though.
Moving old, previously scanned equipment to storage. I'd like to keep details on this equipment, processor, HD type, space, memory, etc., from previous scans, but not have it displayed on standard PDQ scans and reports going forward. Is there such a thing as a hide attribute to do this? Thanks, Kay Kirkland.
Hey, Kay Kirkland. Okay, so a couple things there, right? First thing, again, let's say you're retiring machines. If you go into your Active Directory, if you delete them out of Active Directory and you have full sync like I have here, they are going to come out of your inventory. So if you want to keep those and you plan on cleaning up your Active Directory, you want to do import only, okay, so that you keep them. Now, let's say you do keep them, you don't want them to be part of the scans, okay? What you would do is say you'd right click on this and go, do not allow the scan, so it won't get a scan. So now you can retain that data. Now, as for hiding it so you can't see it, the only thing I can think of is what Jordan came up with earlier today was like export the data at that point. But at this point, it's not going to scan. You can still do queries and that on it. I guess you could make a collection of machines that no longer, that don't have allow scan on them so that, you can exclude them from reports. But that's how, kind of a roundabout way of going at that, I guess. Jordan, did I really muddy that one up too?
No, I don't think there's a direct way on that one. I think marking it not be scannable and making its own collection where you can then say reports exclude that is probably your best bet. It shouldn't take it's some upfront time cost, but once it's running, then it's just adding new things as they go.
Easy place to find that. I believe the allow scans on the computer in the computer table. Allow scan right there. So that's where you'd find that to put that in a collection. So there you go.
Dear Lex and Jordan, I just started playing around with auto reports for battery health info. What are your favorite auto reports to make your job easier? Alexander N.
So that's evil laugh for me. I just like spamming Jordan. So I'll do a deployment and then make sure he gets all the detail on it. But favorite auto reports, a couple that I think are really, really useful. Like if you do a nightly, like a disk scan, you can send a report that does, any machine that has less than 10% disk space. So you can kind of keep a monitor of that. Another one that's my favorite is build an old apps report. And to do that, you go to reports, new report, basic report. This one's super easy, right? Computer. And if you use the same naming convention we do in the collections, you name a collection, go to filters, add that name of collection member contains old. I like to put parentheses around it in case, something's called cold, right? Call this old apps. Then run this against all computers, and then group it by computer, and you can see what everybody needs. You know, as I guess we'll go look at Castillo here. Here's all the old apps, Evernote, some Visual C needs to be updated, Notepad. So there you go. There's an old apps report for you. Again, one of my favorites. Jordan, you have any favorites?
That's a lot of old apps for a lab that's been around for less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, you know, I had to put something out there to look at, right?
Yeah. So unfortunately, with auto reports, that's something I see the value of, but my experience with it is testing to make sure it works before a new version is released. And so I've built them, but I've never actually gone out to find something hyper useful with it.
You know what I do find really useful in auto reports is when you go to triggers and you do monthly, you can go to day of the week and you go pick like the 5th Tuesday of the month, and it'll actually figure out the next 5th Tuesday of the month. We did this, I think, a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it'll actually figure that out. Kind of interesting. Anyway.
Hey guys, is there the possibility of having an SQL version, not SQLite, of PDQ Deploy and Inventory in the near future? Timothy,
Tim M. I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibilities. You know, I can't speak for development. I think it's a great idea. Jordan?
Yeah,
Try
that's another
shaking
one. I think the initial push to look for it was there was with larger environments and performance issues, but a lot of that's been cleaned up, so I don't know if it's high on the priority list at the moment.
You know, it's interesting, ask for features, and it's like, yeah, I think it's a good idea, but we'd have to check in with development and see what's on the list there, so.
Dear Lex and Jordan, regarding work-from-home laptops, our VPN policy, unable to change by anyone in my country due to corporate policies, does not allow PDQ services over it, and my users rarely come into the office. Is there something besides Heartbeat that could be useful to alert me that a laptop is on site and connected? Todd, why?
Alert you to I mean, okay. So what does the alerting basically is your heartbeat in inventory. Options. You go to network. Okay. 300 seconds. I guess you could get really aggressive there. Now there's good and bad with that, right? Getting aggressive, laptop hits, you'd probably find it sooner.
Your network team's probably going to come talk to you about the chatter.
Exactly. So, I mean, you start upping the amount of times you're pinging at. If you got a big environment, you might start a ping before the previous series is completed. So that's a tough one. Maybe, you know, you could probably do this. Build a collection of laptops and just ping those specifically.
Yeah. Well, we're not doing an active look.
Mm-hmm.
It's difficult to go in there with, like, the heartbeat is pretty aggressive when it sees it comes online. It can kick off a whole bunch of things based on that. It's difficult to look for a state change when we don't have an active connection. It's based on the last scan, which is where.
Well, my thought is this: if we have a laptop, right? We could build a scanner. Basically, does a ping, right? Goes and takes a look for it, right? Does that scan on an aggressive basis and only hits a smaller group, as opposed to the entire network. Yeah, it's a way to try. Not the best answer, but you know.
But an answer nonetheless. Hey guys, I love PDQ and use it every day. The only thing I could ever hope for is some sort of agent installation that allows me to remotely deploy outside my network. I found that TeamViewer kind of does this with their use of built-in scripting, but it feels half-arsed. Will there ever be an agent? Thanks, Jacob S.
Jacob, I believe there's going to be one. You know, in fact, I think there needs to be one. As for when that comes out, you know, I can't tell you, man. So stay tuned on that.
Yeah, I can't say
shake your magic 8-ball.
Yeah,
Shake the magic 8-ball.
For what we can see, I'm very excited for things that are planned in the future. It's just hard to give any
dates and stuff on that.
Definitive data, yeah.
And where that becomes hard is like, we want you guys to trust what we say, so I hate giving out dates that, you know, I have no control over. So stay tuned, guys.
We really love leading you on.
Dear Lex and Jordan, I have deployed a program via Deploy using Heartbeat Schedule. I now need to update the program. Do I have to delete all history from the schedule so they will update? Curtis J.
You have two options. Yes, you can delete it, or you can take off the, let's go build a schedule real quick. You go and apparently we're scheduling reader here. The other thing you can do under options is take off that stop deploying to targets once they succeed, depending on what you're doing. All right, if it's a reboot schedule and you're just rebooting machines, take that off. If it's something that you want to only run once, just go in and delete that target history.
So, yeah, if it's something outside of our package library, we have before we wrote something in SQL where it goes through and it clears the history based on the schedule ID.
Yeah, that's right.
Or
And
not SQL, it's a command line. But we had the command line for PDQ Deploy will let you clear out the target history.
that webcast was automating packages not in your package library, and I believe we've got the link to that SQL there too. So check that one out. That's a much better answer than mine. Point for Jordan.
Gentlemen, what is the best way for a multiple site setup? Currently, we have 23 separate locations set to only sync PCs from their OU, and we use DFS replication for files. But we have to export inventory collections and deploy packages and then import them into each location. Is there a better way? Sincerely, Ray.
Okay, so if you're not managing everything centrally, you're building packages and collections and then distributing them out. I mean, can you think of a better way to automate? I mean, you're going to have to do the export, you're going to have to do the import, because that's just how you're going to have to do it to get it out. Any ideas on how to automate or make that simpler, Jordan? I mean, I instantly think the PowerShells.
Well, this is something actually me and Marcel worked out late last week. He emailed me with this very thing where it wasn't so much the DFS. He was just putting it up on a web server and looking to pull it down. But especially for variables and other things like that, where those are in XML, they don't natively import into PowerShell, but you can import it as an item and specify it as XML.
Oh.
And then you can have it in there. And it's just, for all the layers of XML that you have to go down to, you have to specify that within the file. I don't have all that in front of me.
It sounds kind of complex.
It's actually 3 or 4 lines. It's complex on the surface, but once it's running...
Sounds complex, but
Yeah.
once you write it, it's not as bad.
Yeah,
Okay.
so basically, if the XML is out there on the DFS where you can access it, you just go, you import that item, cast it as an XML, and then it's basically dot sourcing down to where the variables or the information you're looking for. And then you can do a for each on that one with the command line to update the variables, and it should do all that. And it should work for packages as well.
Huh, that sounds like a good blog.
It probably should be, yeah.
That does. Actually.
That's exactly what Marcel said.
Hey guys, I use a lot of APIs in my environment for asset and network management. Currently, I have auto reports in inventory generating CSV files to ingest into my different workflows. Are there any plans to have an API for deploy or inventory? Thanks guys, love the live cast. Sincerely, Chris.
Hey, Chris. I'm not currently aware of that. It doesn't put it out of the realm of possibilities. You heard anything, Jordan, in regards to API availability?
I don't know about APIs, but with the command line where you can do a lot with that will seem like you can deploy packages or reset schedule. There's just a lot you can do within that one where it's similar to an API.
Let me show you how to get the command line parameters. If you go to help, right, and then open an elevated command prompt, which I already did right there, and you type in PDQ Deploy in this case. There you go. Available commands for the command line. Not an API, but it is very, very useful, and should be able to do a lot with that. So that's where you can find information about that.
Hey guys, any plans to add any type of alerting features? Sincerely, Matthew L.
If we do, I hope it's like a rooster. It's something really obnoxious.
Is that monitoring specifically?
Honestly, an alerting feature. I mean, are we talking triggers on a database? Like if this happens, then alert me kind of a thing?
Oh, yeah, we don't have it comes down to the active connection again. We're based on the latest scan, so it's hard to have an alert. I mean, you could put in some sort of logic like after you scan, if it is in this, do something with it. But as far as actively, if something triggers that should be an alert, it's not going to find it till the next scan.
I think the closest thing, I think there's a webcast out there on, I mentioned, disk space. So you would run the scan, an hour later, produce the report that has, and then you could probably do some PowerShell on that, but nothing native at this point.
Hey guys, is there a good way to share variables between inventory and deploy? Thanks, Aaron W.
You know, I should just pull up that webcast where we have the PowerShell. You think?
Yeah, and well, the issue is on that one is the inventory and deploy variables. In that one, we had a specified CSV where you could go through and with the name and everything and import to both of them.
Yeah. But you have to set the same variable up in each deploy and inventory. You have to set them up, and then the PowerShell would update.
Yeah,
those.
and this one, this is if we're going back to the we built last week, which I'll put that up on the GitHub. It's basically if you export from one of them the variables, how you can import them with the XML, where it's not natively done. It really is a pretty quick one. It's just all about importing that file.
So initially, they got to build the same variable in both, and then that will take care of it.
Yeah. So I guess what I'll do, because I saw someone, if I could email that to them as well. I'll put that up on our Git under bonus content.
Okay.
Once this one's over, and you can get it from there.
Alrighty. You're my hero, Jordan.
Should we do a speed round?
Yeah, let's jump into it. This is one that we kind of answered earlier in the webcast. Hey guys, love the software. We're looking to move fully into Azure AD. How does PDQ like or support this? Also, does PDQ support the Azure VPN Tunnel? Thank you, MS.
I mean, kind of like I said earlier, you got to have a local source to work with, and in that case, just replicate your. It's also good to have a local source so that in case there's a issue with connecting to Azure, you've got a local source, but from that local source, you can work from it. That's how I would do it. Seems to work pretty good, and not a bad idea to have a decent backup on site. I did it in under a minute. Score.
Keep it on the speed round.
Let's go for it. Hey guys, is there an existing video or tutorial to get started using PDQ Deploy for Windows Patch Management? Rick H.
There's a ton of them, but a couple of easy ones you'd look for. I'd search for Set It and Forget It. I'd look for Automated Patch Management. Probably find those two videos should easily get you on your way.
Boom. There it is. Next one.
Hey guys, in PDQ Inventory, Windows 10 20H2 is shown as 2019 in the SP release column. Is there a way to change that? Joseph P.
If that is a collection that we maintain, I would say I don't think there's a way to change that. I guess. Any thoughts, Jordan? I'm trying to pull it up right now.
Well, if it's if it's a default column, I don't know a way that we can change that data specifically. If it is something that
So check it out. I can't. I just pulled it up to try and rename it.
well, oh no, he's saying so. If you close that down,
Okay.
Yeah, move the question.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's
there
a SP release column in the main window there.
Oh, okay.
That says 1809. It's and Kobe said it's 2009, not 2019, but it's the same thing. That one in particular, because they did change from the 4-digit to that one. I don't know how to change what's in the column there. If it is something that we do need to look at changing on the product, we put in ticket with support, and we can start looking at it.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks for taking that one from me, man. I went down the wrong path.
That's all right, but you did it fairly quickly, so that's
Still
okay.
under a minute. Oh.
Hey guys, how can I find PCs in inventory that have Office 16 but different versions of 64 and 32-bit?
Let's see, Office. So I'll go up to Filter, type in Office. There's our Office, 2016, 16 and 32-bit. I don't have any. I would imagine once you pull that, you can go look in if it's in x86 or, any thoughts on that, Jordan?
The only thing I can think of is like a PowerShell scanner, where if you know what you're looking for which
Specifically?
architecture, then you could build a collection, including the Office 2016, and if it's 32,
Then break it down.
just build a new collection off of that.
There you go.
For the last one, Brett in the chat said 2009 is how it appears in the registry, which is where we're pulling that from.
Oh, good to know.
Hey guys, is there a way to create a report showing system specs in one report, specifically CPU, memory, system drive total size, and video card or onboard video in one report? Matthew L.
So those are pulling from different tables, and if you're doing basic reports, and if you link them using basic reports, and it grays them out, you're going to have to go do a SQL report and then do your joins and your union tables that way. So, again, depending on, we got the computer table, let's look at CPU. If you're doing basic reports, and if you link them using basic reports, and it grays them out, you're going to have to go do a SQL report and then do your joins and your union tables that way. So, again, depending on, we got the computer table, let's look at CPU. Can I go add, let's see, disk drive? Apparently I can at this point. And it's going to start eliminating, the links are taken care of on the back end. So if the links eliminate that, you're going to have to go to SQL to do that. So
Is there a way for inventory to trigger deploy if it finds a PC in a container that is missing the software? Thanks, MS.
absolutely. So you would build let's just do this. New dynamic collection. Actually, let me get this so it's going to show up in the right place, right? New dynamic collection, I'm going to say 7-zip or missing 7-zip, right? Because I can spell 7-zip, that's why I'm picking it. And I actually did it. That would have been bad if I couldn't, right? So application name contains 7-zip, and anytime you're looking for machines that are missing it, any one-to-many relationship, you want to find the ones that have it using a contains, and then return not any from that container. So there's all the machines. Now let's say this is your antivirus or whatever. You set a fairly aggressive schedule that goes out and runs on a hourly basis to go update those, and then set a fairly aggressive application scan, and should be able to take care of that.
He also specified a specific container, which I assumed is OU.
Oh yeah,
So you could add another
filter here.
Another filter in there that basically says and OU is.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Gentlemen, the Adobe Reader DC predefined deployment fails with error 1603. Sincerely, W. McKinnon.
Okay, Adobe Reader. Now, I think I remember this, right? Once Adobe Reader's installed, you just need to do the patch, right?
The patch. I was kind of following along with
Yeah.
the conversation on this one, and I believe not even within our product, but just with this installer in particular, there's been a lot of people who have been having errors. So my guess is if that is the case, you're probably going to be seeing a quick follow-up from Adobe with better installer. If I'm wrong on that, I apologize, but I think I remember seeing that, like, even if you go onto the Adobe site, there's people that are having install issues on that one.
Interesting, because there's the full install, there's the patch. So
Adobe has a bug that the user has to be logged on in the continuous release of Reader this
oh
round.
wow, okay. All right, well, stay tuned for a new one from Adobe, huh?
Yeah, so my guess is if that error, if it's causing enough problems, you're probably going to see an out-of-band update at some point.
Guys are really keeping to the speed round, aren't you?
All right, we got 5 left.
Ooh.
All right. Are there any plans to have a web-based service so we can have all customers we use in one place? David G.
I think so. I can't tell you when, because, again, I'm not in charge of development, but, guys, it's definitely been a thought that's been talked about a lot here. So, thanks. That was an easy one. I did that in under a minute.
We need to have someone from product on these PDQ&As.
Yeah, we do. I think we'll look into that. Dear fellers, is there a way to pre-stage, download installation packages on user systems and schedule the installation at a later date? Tony Y.
It's kind of interesting. Yes. I mean, you could do file copies and put the files out there using deploy, and then run a task to run from those install files that have been out there. I think we did a task schedule. We did a webcast on running from a task schedule, so you could actually schedule that in Task Scheduler. That was last week's webcast.
I'd say if you're copying that file over, yeah, I mean, you can copy over, if the new file installer is out there, you can copy that over without running, no problem. When you do get around to running it, you're going to want to have a step after the install to remove the installer.
Yeah, that's true. You're going to have some leftover stuff there. That's usually what deploy takes care of for you. Anyway, so.
Hey guys, I want to schedule updates, then restart immediately after another one is done. Is there a way to schedule one deployment to finish once another one is done? Sincerely, David, uppercase G.
Okay, so I'm thinking, all right, I don't know if it's a good way to do it. I mean, okay, so let's say we nest packages, right? So let's say we're going to update Dropbox and FileZilla and Chrome and GreenShot, right? Create new package. Now, the question was reboot in between each of those. Was that it? Or just restart after the next one's done?
I think it was restart after the update was done.
Okay, so if you nested those and then scheduled all the nesting on that, I guess would be a way to go about that. I'm I don't know. Thoughts?
Well, if it was referring to just he's doing the actual Windows updates and he wants to reboot when that's done, you can just do a post step
Post-step,
at the
that's
end of
true.
that one that does a reboot. So after it comes back as successful, you could even have the post step based on the results of that one. So only if it was successful in the update would it do the reboot.
There you go.
And then the post step should stick around for new versions of the Windows updates when they come through.
That is true. Post-step. Thanks, man. I went down a totally different path, obviously.
Teamwork.
Score.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Hey guys, I've got collections on PDQ Inventory in which it detects PCs that do not have some software installed. Example, MS Teams. Then I have in PDQ Deploy a package connected to this collection to install immediately. It is working well, but inventory is not instantaneous as soon as the PCs fall into the collection. Thanks, Ezekiel R.
All right, so again, you're going to run into a timing issue here. So if you think like a heartbeat would do it on a reboot, so that's probably not the best way if you want it to do immediate, right? So at that point, you're going to have to schedule in your schedules. Do I have one? Did I say? Yep, I did save a schedule here. You'd have to go and be really aggressive. I mean, you could do it on intervals, I guess, and I think we can do what? Every minute? Wow, that's really aggressive. You know, I would probably look at kicking that off once an hour, maybe once every 30 minutes. But again, that's really aggressive.
Well, the issue with a minute is it would, if it doesn't install and then
Finish.
and then scan within a minute, it's going to try to
Kick
run
back
against the
in.
same machine. So you want enough time for the install and the scan after to run to be able to clean up the collection.
Absolutely. So I'd give it probably 15, probably a good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
You may be able to ratchet that up or down, but again, depending on what you're installing. So that's how you could go about it. I don't know there's a easy answer to making that be instantaneous. So
And our final question / comment, it's an easy one for you folks. To everyone involved in doing all your posts on creating a healthy DNS, I inherited an environment and it was beating me, but not anymore. Thanks everyone, Jim L.
I think we got to go give Brig and Josh a hug after this.
Yeah,
big hug.
they do wonderful work. Every time we get any sort of question or something DNS is coming up, we don't even bother looking. It's like, get the Brig.
Yep, get Brig. Ask Brig. Go find him in the 7-Eleven, give him a coffee, and find out about DNS. But yeah, those guys are amazing. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Brig. Thanks, Josh. Yeah, managed to get through PDQ&A somewhat painlessly, I guess. Hey, thank you guys for watching. Have a happy Valentine's Day. I'm Lex from PDQ.com. Catch you later.
Thanks for joining our webcast today. Congratulations, Jay Beck and Kay Kirkland, winners of PDQ swag. Send us your info at webcast@pdq.com. If you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to our support forums. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you back here next week.